It's the end of Season 4 of Naruto Shinobi Striker DLC, and we're finishing things off with an attack type and an actual Boruto character. Imagine that. We're gonna take a look at everything you get when you buy Kawaki, every cosmetic, as well as every jutsu and how useful they are for attack types. So grab a drink from today's sponsor and let's get started. This video is brought to you by GamerSupps. GamerSupps makes this wonderful supplement. You take a little spoon of this, drop it into water, shake it up, and you have a delicious energy drink. It's ridiculous how good this thing tastes, given that it has 0 sugars, 0 carbs, and 0 calories. So ridiculous that it has become my favorite drink of all time, and if you don't believe it, just drop by any of my streams. At the start of every stream, I mix myself a little GamerSupps, and I drink it throughout the whole thing. This is not in my contract. I don't have to do this. I legitimately just do it because I love it. The new strawberry flavor is my personal favorite. It used to be the pineapple, but sorry buddy, strawberry is just too good. And unlike other energy drinks, you don't have that heavy crash that comes once the effect wears off. It's like a smooth, stable stream of energy that just keeps you going. It's also super affordable because a serving this small only costs you about 35 cents. And for me, that is enough to fill up this entire thing, which is 25 ounces or 700 milliliters. How many cans of Monster or Red Bull is that? And in case you were worried, it's also vegan, keto, and diabetic friendly. If this sounds good to you, head over to GamerSupps using the link down below and enter code Globku at checkout for 10% off. Anything you want. That goes for any of their flavors, their waifu shakers, t-shirts, or hoodies. Trust me guys, this is the good stuff. Thank you GamerSupps for sponsoring. And let's begin with what you get when you buy and unlock Kawaki. Besides his jutsu, you get a title as usual, a new face paint, which is that little cross on his face, and you get an accessory which is kinda hard to see. It's those ear piercings that he wears. And that's it. The Kawaki hairstyle was already previously available through the Boruto DLC. The outfit was also in-game already, so this DLC doesn't come with any new hairstyles or outfits. To make up for that though, Kawaki comes with a new weapon and a new ninja tool. The weapon is a scientific ninja tool Carapace. It doesn't have an entirely new moveset. Most of its attacks are similar to the Knuckles, except for the jumping strong attack, which for me personally, I prefer the Knuckles strong attack, so this weapon might be a pass from me. And the same goes for the ninja tool, the Scale Fragment. It works like a kunai, but it only has 2 stocks of it. And the range isn't good, but they do deal more damage, which means that for some specific combos, you might get more out of this than a regular kunai. But for sniping enemies or starting out combos, it just isn't as good. And the description even says it has no additional effects. So in the long run, I'm probably gonna stick to regular kunai. But let's move on to the good stuff. First of all, he brings a brand new substitution jutsu, the Emergency Exit. And folks, I know a lot of people who will most likely buy this DLC just for this substitution. It is pretty awesome. So you sub out, you don't leave behind any clone, but notice the health bar. That's right, that is a healing effect. This is a substitution that straight up heals you. And on top of that, it's got a pretty short cooldown at 25 seconds. That's the same as Swift Step or Time Space Hop, meaning it's not as short as a regular substitution, but it's shorter than all the clone substitutions in the game. And it might not heal you for a lot of health, but it's definitely enough to get you out of a tight spot, or just keep you alive long enough for your healer to arrive. Or even better, if you're a healer yourself, keep you alive while we find some space to heal. It's a wonderful substitution to have for sure. But let's talk jutsu. First up, Karma Lynchpin Strange Taste. It's a ninjutsu that you hold for as long as you want, making yourself and allies around you invincible to ninjutsu and ninja tools. As long as they're inside this orb right here, everything is gonna get absorbed by the karma. On top of it, if an enemy is standing inside of it, their ninjutsu cooldown is reset and you drain their secret ultimate gauge. They lose it and you gain it. And by triggering that particular effect, you get a damage buff and a cooldown reduction on your other jutsu. It's a long description, but if you have trouble remembering all of that, it's okay. You're only human and so am I. Just think of this as an ability that sucks every other jutsu, and if an enemy is standing in the bubble, you are sucking their ultimate meter as well. Even if an enemy goes around the bubble and attacks you from behind, you won't flinch because the whole move has super armor. This jutsu also deletes projectiles really easily. It activates fast, so you can even do it on reaction, and by deleting projectiles like this, you're building a ton of ultimate meter. And it's also something that can be used to counter other defensive options. You can delete Truth Seeker orbs, sand shields, water pillars, even the Susano armor by simply popping a bubble on top of them. However, it doesn't remove buffs like the Demon Hunter, for instance. Now, while doing this move, you are armored but not invincible, which means if you get hit with an unblockable move like Tsukuyomi, you're gonna get stunned out of it. If the unblockable move is a projectile though, like Mind Transmission, it will get sucked before it even reaches you. And this move builds ultimate charge like crazy. It is a way for attack types to unleash multiple expensive ultimates in the same match. That said, it can be a bit of a suicide move. In my time using this jutsu, I found that players usually don't care that their ultimate gauge is getting sucked. They just want to punch me in the face. Now, I may have armor, so I'm not flinching, but I'm still taking the damage. Is that a trade-off you want? More ultimate charge for less health? I guess it depends on the game mode. It can also be a hard ability to set up, as attack types don't currently have any jutsu that will stun the target for a very long time. If they did, you would be able to suck their ult charge for free, but they kinda don't. Which means ultimately, you're either gonna rely on your team to set that up for you, or you're gonna need a very good healer to cover your suicide mission. But with that, let's move on to something a bit less defensive and a bit more oppressive. Imperial Wrath. This is a two-stage jutsu. First, it turns your arm into a shield and you charge an enemy, nullifying all attacks except for ultimates, and if you hit your opponent, you will reset their substitution jutsu. And then you can press the button again for a follow-up attack, which is a pretty good damaging slash. This charge has very good range, but god damn it, it hates lag. The charge will straight up stop before reaching an opponent if they are running away during a laggy match, because it thinks it reached them already. I still love this ability though. I feel like a total wrecking ball shoulder charging into an enemy because it really goes through everything except for ultimates. And if you hit someone with it, they have their subs disabled and they are stunned for long enough for you to try to do something. You can set something up and deal some damage before doing the follow-up attack, which pretty much finishes the combo unless you get a wall splat. On top of that, if the opponent blocks your charge, you will actually guard break them. And because it guard breaks, there are certain defensive abilities that it also deletes, like Sand Shield or Water Pillar. Though stuff that is a bit tougher, like Truth Seeker Orbs, would still be safe from it. So it's an ability that feels really powerful, but it also has a couple of downsides. The first one is the laggy matches that I mentioned, but assuming we have perfect playing conditions, sometimes you just don't get the follow-up. It's usually when you run into something with armor, but not always, so it's a bit unpredictable. And no, it's not because you missed the ability, because even if you whiff the shoulder charge, you will still get the follow-up. So I'm not sure what's going on here. And the other downside is if the opponent sees you charging and they have an armored ability themselves, they can tank that damage and counter you with their own armor. That said, if you get the hit, the number of combo possibilities that this jutsu opens is immense, and it's a big part of what makes this DLC so much fun. Finally, let's talk about his ultimate, Karma Lynchpin Ritual Destruction. It's a punch that pierces the enemy with a ninja tool, and then unleashes a big explosion dealing massive damage in the area. So it's a single hit activation, similar to Planetary Devastation. You will charge the target, and if you connect, there will be a little animation and then a big explosion. And I mean a big explosion. This thing is massive. The explosion triggers on the target's back, so ideally, what you want to do is hit one of your opponents with the whole team behind them. That's the optimal scenario to land this. That said, the animation is pretty long, so if the other teammates notice this, they most likely will have enough time to move out of the way. This ultimate just kills though. I haven't seen anyone tanking this yet. The player who gets caught is pretty much a guaranteed kill, and anyone caught in the blast is gone as well. That said, if you miss that first punch, that first hit, you don't get anything. There's no blast following it up. It's definitely a super powerful ultimate jutsu, one that pretty much guarantees 1 kill per activation. It's not easy to dodge that first punch, so if you miss it 9 times out of 10, that's probably on you. And then it also has the possibility of getting multi-kills without any downsides pretty much, so it's a really solid choice for attack types. And that's the Kawaki DLC for Naruto Shinobi Striker, the end of another season of DLC. I think Kawaki brings a lot of value because his jutsu are good, but that substitution jutsu is just gonna be so valuable for so many players running different class types. And although my first impression is that none of his abilities will really be meta-defining, they're good enough for you to not feel like you wasted your money. And on top of that, and perhaps more importantly, they are so fun to use. Whether you're on a suicide mission to pull off as many ultimates during a game as you possibly can, or setting up combos with your shoulder charge, Kawaki brings attack types new combo possibilities, so in my opinion, he's a wonderful character to close out this season. But that's what I think. What about you guys? If you've tried out Kawaki, let me know what you thought of him in the comments down below. And don't forget about today's sponsor. Click the link down below to get your gamer subs and use code Globku for a 10% discount. And as always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Globku and I'll see you next time. Bye!